Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So HBO did the wonderful thing of dropping a whole bunch of teaser images for Game of Thrones Season 6, so let's do a breakdown. Just careful for spoilers for everything that's happened on the show so far, and there is a new round of the giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. So I guess let's do this in a slideshow format. The pictures that they posted were out of order, so I'm just going to do these as they appear. Starting with the biggest one first, the biggest WTF. Bran and the Three-Eyed Raven standing in broad daylight. It's kind of hard to tell where they are. It looks like they're somewhere in the north. They might be in Winterfell. This could be happening in a vision. They could actually be standing outside. Based on where they left things at the end of Season 4 on the TV show, with the Three-Eyed Raven, kind of being ingrown with the root system almost, and the end of Book 5, where it seemed like that was going to happen to Bran eventually too, I'm wondering if this is all happening in a vision. But look how big Bran is. He's grown up so fast. That's one of the problems with using child actors, is that they grow up way faster than their characters. Ramsay and Roose Bolton gonna have a fun time trying to hold Winterfell in the north. Remember, the whole reason that Roose wanted to marry Sansa to Ramsay is so that it would legitimize his claim in the eyes of the rest of the north. But because Sansa's on the run now, they have to deal with that. And looming on the horizon, you have an army of White Walkers. But that's not really a threat. Really, the biggest threat to them right now is the rest of the North. The North that remembers. So I'll be really interested to see which houses of the North rally behind Sansa when they find that she's still alive and on the run, and which rally to Roose's banner. It would not be Game of Thrones if everyone's allegiances were set in stone. There's always going to be houses flipping sides. Balon Greyjoy, very much alive. I'll be really interested to see if he stays that way through Season 6. There's the idea that we might get a Kingsmoot because we have Euron Greyjoy coming. We also have Yara that's coming back too. I know her name is Asha in the books, but they changed it for the show because of Osha. They didn't want people who did not read the books to be confused. But she's still got her armor on. I'll be really interested to see how they get involved with the northern plotline too. As much as they're changing things though, they are circling back around to get book 4 and 5 stuff that they skipped over during season 5, especially during Jaime's storyline. Speaking of which, Myrcella confirmed dead. R.I.P. Just another princess dead and buried. Right after the season ended, the actress who plays her made a funny comment about Game of Thrones problems, and the actress that used to play Myrcella and was recast was like, "Sister, I totally understand how you feel." So you have two different Myrcellas that got killed off the show sympathizing with each other. Like, being a princess, getting killed just comes with the territory. Although to be fair, the original Myrcella didn't get killed off, but she was effectively killed off when she was recast. How many times have we been in the Great Sept because of a funeral in the last couple of seasons? There was Jon Arryn in Season 1, Joffrey in Season 4, then Tywin in Season 5. Now we have Myrcella. Just the latest in a line of funerals and dead Lannisters. I'm really interested to see how Jaime and Cersei process this. They were slowly drifting apart. I think Brienne was a really positive influence on Jaime in the books and on the show. Their relationship in the books is a little bit different than it is in the show. They brought TV show Jaime and Brienne much closer than book Jaime and Brienne were. Logically, what I'm expecting from Jaime and Cersei, though, is that this will break them psychologically, whether or not they show it outwardly. I mean, they'll probably lash out. They might end up having twincest again, but I feel like their characters on the TV show are moving in a book direction. That is, they're slowly drifting apart. Jaime won't be quite as obsessed with Cersei as he was in the past. Speaking of obsessed, High Sparrow, obsessed with inequality in the Seven Kingdoms. There was that teaser where he talked about banding together, overthrowing the powerful, so I'm just expecting the Faith Militant to be a really big thing in Season 6, or at least the movement to start sweeping through the Seven Kingdoms. Most of what's been going on with the Faith has been localized to King's Landing in Season 5. I'm expecting that will start to spread. Brienne looking none the worse for wear, maybe somewhere in the north. It doesn't look quite as cold in the north as in the Sansa pictures, so she might be a little further south. Sansa though, some awesome Sansa pictures. What I'm wondering from the two of them is, do they head towards Eastwatch by the sea, up near the wall? Do they head to Castle Black, or do they head to the west, closer to where Theon is from, the Iron Islands? Do they seek help from his family? The thing about that area though, is I don't think it'll be snowing nearly this much, so I think they are much closer to the wall. Logically, you'd think that Sansa would be the brains of this operation. She's the only one that's thinking clearly, and she would probably think, hey, my brother is at the wall, maybe I'll go there. But they could take her in a number of different directions. She might even try to head to one of the houses that she knows is loyal to the Starks. Like, say, to the Last Hearth, that's where House Umber's seat is. There's also a rumor that that's where Rickon is going to be too, Rickon and Osha, because they might be showing up too, even though it's not necessarily that way in the books. I'm expecting the books and the show to deviate a little bit as to where Rickon resurfaces. But Sansa here just looks absolutely done taking people's shit. I was really hoping that she'd get to this point after Season 4, like that was what that look with Littlefinger was at the end of Season 4, wearing that black dress. Turns out, didn't really go down that way. They wanted to rake her over the coals, over the Ramsay coals for a little while. So I guess you could say what they might be doing is taking the Lady Stoneheart character and splitting that characterization, giving Sansa and say like the Jon Snow character aspects of that personality, in that plotline for that matter, just the idea that the North remembers and now everyone is effed. If you haven't read the books, the Lady Stoneheart character is just a character that comes back and exacts revenge, but she's kind of this force of nature in that if you step in her path, even if you're not a bad person, you will still totally be effed. Just not completely thinking clearly, just out for some good old-fashioned revenge. Just looking at these pictures doesn't really tell us the whole story, but it does look like revenge is on her mind. But mostly when the season picks up, they're still going to be on the run, so they have to find where they're going first before people can rally behind Sansa and she can form a plan. Like, okay, now we need to get rid of the Boltons. How do we do that? And we have Samwell Gilly and Gilly's baby here on their way to Old Town. I'm really interested to see how much of Old Town we get to see, because it seems like they cast some pretty significant actors for his family, but his family does not live in Old Town, so they'd have to travel all the way to Horn Hill to see that. So maybe he'll go to Horn Hill first, then go to Old Town, or maybe we'll bounce back and forth between those two. I can't wait to see Highgarden too. I'm hoping we get to see Highgarden if we're already going to be in that part of Westeros. Moving to the east now, Daenerys looking terrible, still with the Dothraki. I love the Dothraki teaser. You are queen of nothing. The Dothraki just absolutely do not care about her at all. So it's going to be really fun to see how she deals with that situation, because in the last couple of seasons, every time she rolls up, she has an army at her back. She has bigger dragons that are really fearsome, but now she doesn't have that. It seems like Drogon's going to be out of commission for just a little while, but he'll definitely be back. Tyrion, Missandei, Grey Worm, Varys, looks like they have to deal with Meereen. I'll be really interested to see what they do about the Harpies, because even though Drogon rolled in like a boss in Daznak's pit at the end of last season, he didn't eat all the Harpies or the people behind them. So all these people that Daenerys left behind are going to have to deal with internal threats in Meereen, like the Harpies, and external threats too. Just because she liberated a people doesn't mean that people like the Wise Masters won't just rush right back in the minute she leaves. So I'm expecting some old foes from Slaver's Bay to come back and try to haunt Meereen. But because Daenerys isn't there, her new small council, for whatever you want to call it, is going to have to deal with it themselves. Poor Arya, blind cat of the canals. In the books, she uses the name Mercy, so I'll be really interested to see how many episodes she goes as this Mercy character. Seeking mercy, giving mercy, the mercy of death. I know it seems like she's living on the streets in this picture, but really, this is just her crucible. This blindness is her crucible to survive. And they're actually crediting this as a Marjorie picture, so now we know that Marjorie is still at the mercy of the Faith, still in the Black Cells, but aside from the Shame Nun, we really don't know what's going on with the Trial of the Faith, because they only teased that at the end of last season. Just because everyone confessed Marjorie, Loras, and Cersei doesn't mean that they're off scot-free. So let me know in the comments, of all these teasers, which is your favorite? What's your favorite picture from Season 6? And I know everyone's wondering when the trailer's gonna drop. I was kind of hoping that they'd drop it in the last week, which is why I was holding out for a new video. That hasn't happened, but they might drop one this Sunday with the premiere of Vinyl. They have a new series that's premiering this weekend. So whatever ends up happening, I'll totally do a video for it, no worries. There actually have been quite a few teasers so far, so while you guys wait for my next video to post, you can click here for all my Game of Thrones Season 6 videos, and you can click here for the big Batman v Superman trailer that I just posted. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.